Okay, folks, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here with today's session, which is school-friendly updates to Google Meet with Brittany Gaffney. Just a quick announcement for tomorrow's session. We are running a Google Sites as an alternative for parent and student communication at noon tomorrow, so be sure to check that out. And also, if you check out our PD calendar, we should have a new schedule posted either today or tomorrow, so you'll be able to check out next week's programming. So as always, if you haven't done so already, say hi in the chat just so we know that you're here. At any time, if you guys have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer all of your questions. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brittany Gaffney here at the Model Schools team.
Hi, everybody. So welcome. It's great to see you all this afternoon. Hopefully where you are, the sun is starting to peek through a little bit. So today's session is going to be on some school-friendly updates that have happened with Google Meet. So we know that Google Meet has been a great resource that some of us might be using to kind of get in touch with our kiddos, or maybe record ourselves doing like a screen share to get out some instruction to them. And they've come out with a few updates that I'd like to share with you today. So you'll see on my screen, I have on the left-hand side, you'll notice where my class code is. That is the teacher side of things. And then on the right-hand side is the student side. So I want to kind of keep both up on screen today for us so you can kind of see the differences and a little bit of split screen action. So just remember, wherever you see the class code, that is the teacher side, right? Because the students don't have that. So the biggest update that just came through is Google Meet and Google Classroom have kind of integrated together. And some extra kind of features have been built in. So if you haven't already, if you go to the settings little gear up in your top right-hand corner of your classroom as the teacher, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see this option for Meet. So you'll see a code here or a URL for the Meet, and then you'll see this toggle switch on and off. So basically, if I turn this link on and make it visible to students, I'll show you how that looks. And we'll just kind of start there. So when you make the Meet link visible to students, it shows up right underneath your the name of your class, right on your banner here. And you'll see on the student side, it shows up in the same exact place. Now, one of the nice features that has come with this newest update is my link is on right now. It's visible, right? But I, as the teacher, haven't clicked on it yet. Watch what happens if the students go to click on this link. See how it changes here? It's not allowing them to use that link, which is good news, right? Because we, on the teacher side, aren't quite in yet. So that is really good news. So I'm going to X out of there. So notice just by having it visible, the link really isn't live until you, as the teacher, click this link. So now watch. Even now, if you're in this screen right here, if your screen as the teacher looks like this, the student can now click in. Oops. Let's see. Oh, okay. That is weird.
It might be because we're trying to use 3 camera sources at the same time, so.
Oh, okay. Oh, no. Okay. Um, So I'm trying to think. Well, once your screen looks like this as the teacher, well, no, actually, Emma, the join now, it shouldn't really matter, at least as when I was testing it this morning. When you're kind of in this screen right here, it technically should be live already for the students. I'll give that a shot if Google change something between now and then.
And Brittany, if you click on the join now, there you go.
Okay. Well, when I had tested, I'm sorry, when I had tested earlier, it wouldn't even let me get back. I had to not. The student was able to get in before the join now, so that is good news. So now that I'm in as the teacher, the student will be able to get in and join that call. So the key is, at this point, the student can join. So now we're here, right? Now on the teacher end, you should always be the last one to end the call. So I'm going to go ahead and the student is going to leave first. And now myself as the teacher is going to leave after that. Now there is a small time frame still, even with this newest update. Yes, Elaine, I'm so glad you're with me on this, because I promise when I was just testing it this afternoon, yeah, they were able to get in before you hit join now. So you're proving that I'm not crazy. Because before, as I was testing this afternoon and yesterday with my teachers, it was, yeah, they were still able to get in before hitting join now. But it looks like Google has even made some updates further. So the student on this end, okay, there is still a small time frame. It's about 60 seconds-ish that the students can rejoin, even if you have left the meeting. And that is for the sole reason of, if internet goes down or they do accidentally leave the meeting, it gives them a chance to get back in. So right now, there still is that small, tiny gap regardless of what you do. So I just kind of want you to know that on your end, that students can rejoin for just a small period of time still. But one way you can further prevent that is if you go back to your teacher side of things, and in your settings, you can make the link not visible anymore to students. And when you hit save, it will no longer be an option really for the students to join back in, even if they haven't refreshed their page. So I see the link as the student because I hadn't just refreshed my screen yet, but it won't let me join because the teacher has turned that visibility off. So I really want the takeaway from this to be, as a backup kind of plan, make sure that you've turned your link off whenever you're really not using it. It's kind of a good fail-safe when using these links to make sure that that link is not visible to students. Okay. Now you'll notice also in your settings, you can reset the code if you'd like. So if something's kind of going funky with the code and it's not working for the kids, you can reset it. And you can also obviously, copy the link to put it elsewhere. So really the settings are quite simple as far as, turning this Meet right on in Google Classroom, right? It's kind of a difference of turning it on and off, and you can reset the link. So Patty, you can actually keep the same link. Yep. You can keep the same link and just turn visibility on and off. So watch, I didn't reset the link. I kept it the same. And I turned the visibility back on. And if I refresh on the student side, and I, as the teacher, haven't joined yet, but if the student try and join, it still won't let me. So you can really keep the same link and just turn the visibility on and off, which is really nice, just as far as organizational wise, right? And just use that toggle. Now you're probably wondering, how do I let students know that I want them to, join the link? What I've seen some teachers do, and I'm just going to kind of expand my teacher side for a second so it's a little bit bigger. What I've seen some teachers do is make an announcement for their class. So they'll leave the link on or off, it's up to you. But they'll make an announcement with their class, something like, hello, tomorrow at, noon, use the Google Meet link on the top of our class banner to join our meeting. And they'll post that as an announcement. So kids will know, at noon to go ahead and click that link. And then you as the teacher can, have this open maybe a minute before you're ready to get started, and the kids can go ahead and join because they'll get this, email notification that you have set this up. So I really like the use of the announcement feature and then turning this, on and off. So the kids will always know, what time you'd like to meet. And then you can kind of customize it each day too, of your time of meeting or when you want to use the link. Now, you may have attended some of our other trainings on creating like office hours and appointment slots using a Google Meet link. So you can use this link really anywhere. You can put this link into a Google Calendar invitation for kids still, if you want to have that official calendar invite. If you right click, you can copy the link address, or you can go back into your settings and copy it here too. And you can pop it into a calendar invitation if you'd like. Maybe in the description, you could pop it in there and invite students that way as well. If you're into using the calendar invitation. If the announcement works well in your Google Classroom, I would definitely use that as well. But know that you can, individually invite students to use that link too. And then just make sure, again, you're turning it on and off for visibility, depending on when you want the kids to be able to get in and out. Kim. Hi, Kim. I noticed that sometimes there's a delay in assignments, so you may want to post it earlier and keep the window open. Yeah, I mean, the earlier the better, also so the students can prepare, for the time of the meeting. Yep. Elaine, any tips on getting the phone number for the ones that need to phone in? I tried to get it ahead of time and post it. The number changed by the time of the meeting. So Elaine, awesome question. I tested this with one of my teachers, and it seemed as though within the day, the phone number did stay the same. But once the the next day hit, the number did change. So that was kind of our testing basis. We tested it within like a couple hour time frame, and the number did stay the same. So to give you guys I'll show you kind of what Elena's talking about. It seems like day to day, the number will change to call in. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So you'll notice when you click on a Google Meet, right, to join, you get this information, right? Just like we would join the old way before, right, to get our Meet link. This was one way you could get it. And notice the dial-in information is located on this card, right, once you start the meeting. But there is no dial information visible with this new link in Google Classroom. So, what I have suggested to some teachers that if you only have students that are using the like the phone number feature, if they don't have a computer at home, that if you join quick to get the code and copy and paste this number into your announcements, then that will work. That will work just the same. But it seems like the time frame for this number is within the day. It seems to reset the next day. And that's kind of as far as we've tried to test it out is day to day. So that would be my suggestion is to just hop in quick as the teacher, get this number the day of, and post that along with the announcements. Yep, and Diana, you typed it right in there exactly. Um, Now, I'm assuming that Google, since this is all a relatively new feature, the idea of linking this in Google Classroom, I'm assuming that Google will come out with yet another update, right? They always do, and have that number feature in there. But for now, that is kind of the workaround idea that we've been working on. And I've seen really a lot of success with, announcing the time that you'd like the students to access that link and just always directing them where it is. And the other good news is, sometimes as teachers, we can't see the student side of things. So I think it's really awesome that exactly where on your class banner is. So it kind of makes it easy to give them directions of where to look. And again, to turn that link, on and off and to get more information on that link to copy or reset, you'll go to the settings in your classroom. Now, another thing to note is that if you have multiple Google Classrooms, each link in each of your classrooms will be different. So just keep that in mind as well. And that makes sense, but I just wanted you to keep that in mind if you do have multiple classrooms. Um, so Kim, the really Google Meet should work um definitely on any desktop computer, or I should say laptop or anything like that. That should work just fine. They don't even necessarily have to have a camera as long as they have that audio piece. On a cell phone or a mobile device, Google Meet is also an app. So they could download that app kind of for easier access. Um, Lorraine, the number for Google Meet is helpful if they don't have a computer to click on that link. So they can dial in from a phone, any phone really, and still be able to participate in audio. Can you discuss the attendance button shown next to the student join? Sure. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. Student join. Trying to get in here. There we go. Diane, I don't know if the attendance button that is shown next to the student join. Up above it will tell anyone who is on the call. Is that what you're meaning? Like who's joined so far? Attendance button. Oh, present. Yep. So this is the present feature in Google Mode, yep, in Google Meet is for you to be able to present your screen and show what's on their screen. So it's kind of like what I'm doing now, how you can see what's on my screen. Yep, the present is there. So I'll show you, both teachers and students can present their screen. So I'll show you. If you hit present now, I always pick my entire window just because it's easier. Or my entire screen, just because it's easier so you don't have to worry about which windows you're picking and all of that. So I always pick entire screen. And a little image will show up here. And you're going to click that mini image of your screen until the share button turns blue. And now you're presenting your screen to everyone. So if I join in as the student, so many windows, the student will be able to see my screen and what I am sharing. So remember, the right side is the student side. So the student is able to see everything that I'm sharing on my screen right now. So teachers and students can do this. So this is great if you're using this as an instructional tool, right? As you're meeting with kids and you want them to see something, you can share your screen. Yeah, it's super, super awesome. Let's see. One of my kids did it on the phone and I just described what we were seeing or talking to her about. Yeah, if you dial in, yep, it's best to, the audio feature is obviously most important. Yep. Yes, and thanks to the phone application or for tablet or on a tablet is really helpful as well. Yes, you can hear the students, Diane. Yep. So you'll notice at the bottom of your screen, there is a, they can mute their microphones. And if you as the teacher start the Google Meet yourself, you can actually mute them. So you'll see, let me rejoin as the student. Okay. So see, I'm in teacher mode right now, and I can go down to my test student that I have, and they can mute themselves and unmute as well. And you can remove them from the class. So there are a lot of good features. I really like the present tool, especially if you are using this as an instructional type of video for the kids. And you can even just record yourself in a Google Meet and share that with kids as well, presenting your screen. Mm-hmm. Yes. So a lot of times I've seen a lot of teachers kind of do that workaround. So what they'll do, if you want to record yourself as an instructional video, you can set up your own Google Meet just yourself. So you don't even really have to use the link in Google Classroom. You can just come down, you can click your waffles and go to Google Meet, join a meeting. You could call it, instructional video, just to get one started. And when you join, since it's really just you, right, you'll present your screen. And then you can also record a Google Meet. So once you hit the record button, it'll ask you to ask, for consent and things, but if it's just you. But as you're recording, it'll record your screen and it'll also record your face next to it. Just like how you saw my little picture now right next to my screen, this is really identical of how it will look a recorded Google Meet for students. So as you're seeing it right now on your own screen, is really going to be almost identical to how it looks using this recording Google Meet feature. And then when you're done recording your instruction, you've shared your screen, you can click these three little dots again in the bottom right-hand corner and stop recording. And it will actually save that recording right into your Google Drive. It takes, depending on the amount of time of the video, anywhere between 10 minutes to a half hour to show up in your Google Drive. But it will show up as a video there, and then you can attach that to any Google Classroom assignment. So if you don't have a way to record your screen, Google Meet is a really good tool to use there. So as we come to an end, if you have any other questions, please do ask them in the chat. We'll hang on for a little bit longer and answer any questions that you have. But thank you for joining. I hope that this was helpful and useful and that your kids are really enjoying meeting with you. Yeah, the recording feature really is great. Let me see if I can share like a really quick example of one that I have saved. Just give me one moment. So see, it'll show up in this little folder, sorry, in your Google Drive called Meet Recordings. Google will make that automatically. So it'll show up here and you'll have like that little image of your face along with the screen. So to the students, it really looks sharp and really clear. You're welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Yes. Diana, when you're presenting, I often lose track of who enters and leaves. So I have a kind of a good workaround for that. So Diana, if you're looking at my screen right now, see how my Meet tab right here is in my bigger window, right? Let me rejoin so you can see. Hang on. Let me join. Okay. So whenever you start a Google Meet, right, it is stuck in this bigger window, which doesn't really help us when we're meeting with kids, right? We want to see their faces. So the trick that I've been using, if you only have one computer at home, is to click and drag this Meet tab out of your whole screen. So I clicked and dragged the tab out. So see how it's creating a second window there? And it might go into like a full screen mode, which we don't want, right? Because that's still not helping. So you want to make sure you get it out of full screen. So if you're working on a Mac, it's hitting that green button again. If you're working on a Windows computer, when you go to X out of something, it's in the right-hand corner, and then the little box, and then the minimize. You're going to hit that box in the middle to get it out of full screen. And then I use the arrows in the corner of my screen to make it smaller. So if I were meeting with a bunch of students, I can shrink all of my screens to make it split screen. So now if I had more than one student, they would all of their pictures could show up there if you download the Google Meet grid view. So that's kind of a good, obviously it's just my face now, but if I had some more friends in there, I would see both of them, both of their faces and all of my kids. And you can reshrink those, resize those windows as often as you need. So I found that as a good workaround if you're working with only one computer. Patty, let's see. Or did I miss any other questions? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just popped one up from Cynthia.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I can't figure out how to switch my from Elmo back to my face so I can share my screen. It always stays on Elmo. Hmm. Is the Elmo that you're working on, does it come up with like a separate picture or window of your of what you're showing? Like, is there a piece of like software that you have to open up on your computer and it kind of pulls up a picture of what you're drawing? Let's see.
Also, too, if you can show her like in the meet itself how to toggle like camera sources in the settings, that might be what she's looking for too, because the Elmo might default to it, and she might just have to change it back to her webcam.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I see what you mean. Let's see. Yep. So if you go into your settings, there may be like Derek was saying, right in if you hit these three little dots, if you're in your Google Meet, you may see this settings tab here. Well, you will see the settings. But then if you switch over to video, you might have some different options here as far as what it's pulling up.
So, Cynthia, to add on top of that, if you just have the Elmo as a camera source, it could be a couple of things. There may not be a webcam installed, or some district policies, if you're using a Chromebook, they turn the webcams off. So that might be something to follow up with your tech coordinator on, since it's an administrative setting. So that's something to potentially investigate too. Like if you know you have a webcam built into your device, and it's not working, it may be something, you reach out to the district to just to see if it's something they can turn on for you if it's a district-owned device.
Yeah. Thank you, Derek.
You're welcome.
um, and I think we were talking about like muting students in the chat too.
Yep, I just popped it up.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I'm using my phone too to keep track of that. So yeah, so let's see, Shannon, the students will have the same bar as you across the bottom, so they can mute and unmute themselves by using this big red button like you'll see too. But as the teacher, you will be able to come in and mute them individually. So you'll see kind of the list of students here and you can mute and unmute them. Yep. So you should be able to turn them back on, Shannon.
Elena, I can absolutely send those settings over to you.
I'm not sure, Shannon. Are they able to unmute themselves? Like if you typed in the chat, can they unmute them? Yeah. That is odd, Shannon. We can try and help you further. We'll post our emails at the end. And if you want to reach out, we can maybe try and troubleshoot and share your screen further. Yeah, sure. It could very well be a separate privacy setting, but I really thought that the meeting host could, kind of had the control over the mute button regardless, but it might be a separate privacy setting. But using that chat feature to kind of let the students know, who to unmute and things like that, that should help too. Um, if you're not able to do it on your end. Shrink that out of the way. All right. Well, if there's not any other questions, we'll probably end the live session after. But I will go ahead and put my email right in the chat, so you'll have that. And feel free to reach out and we can troubleshoot even further. I'm going to look at the settings. Yeah, see, it's limited. Thank you for joining.
All right, folks, we'll hang out for another minute or two before we end the stream here. But don't forget to check out all of our other PD offerings. And also don't forget that these videos are available after the fact, right through our YouTube channel. So be sure to check those out as well.